Hi, everybody. This is Kevin Gordon with the Kids Ministries of Central Church. And today, for our Parent Tip Talk, I wanted to give you some tips, parents, about coming back to church. That's right. This coming Sunday, June 7th, we'll be back at Central Church. We won't be having kids ministries, but we will be having family church services at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. The two church services are identical, so just come to one or the other, but we encourage you to bring your family with you of all ages. We can have strollers in the worship center all the way up to fifth grade in kids ministries. And then we'll have middle schoolers in there, as well as high schoolers and adults of all ages. So we hope your family is planning to come and join us. I wanted to give y'all a few tips, parents, about worshiping with your children. If you haven't worshiped with your children before in the corporate worship service, this may be new to you as well as your children. One thing to keep in mind is your family and your children have been away from their church for almost 4 months. That's a long time. You know, they get summer break from school, which is about 2 months. So they're coming back to a church that they haven't seen, maybe the inside of it, for double that amount of time that they would have been out of summer break for school. So for 4 months, almost 4 months, they haven't seen the inside of our church. So just be aware of that. It may be something that's kind of new to them again. They have to remember what it's like. But before you come to services, I hope that you can spend some time talking with your kids about what an adult worship service is like. All right. This service is designed for families, though, so it's not going to be completely an adult worship service. They know that we'll have children in the service, and they're wanting children in the service. But one of the things that we have to keep in mind, all of us, is when there's children in the service, things are going to be a little different, and we're going to have some distraction. That's to be expected, all right? So don't be afraid or scared that your children may be noisy at times. That's what children do, and children learn differently than adults. So even though they may not look like they're learning, they are probably listening. And we've seen with a lot of children that they have to be active in some way while they're listening to really pick up on what's being said. So don't be afraid to let your child color or work on activity pages. We would rather them not use phones and devices. We'd rather them be able to do some things on paper, either writing or coloring, using sermon notes. All right. So, you know, we've been sending Saturday emails that have the sermon notes in them and our activity pages from our lessons. So feel free to print those off and bring them with you. We're also hoping by this weekend that we're going to make some deliveries to your houses with a packet of materials for the next 3 weeks of our Sunday learning that you will have in your hand, actually printed copies, and you could take off some of those copies and bring with you as well. So don't be afraid to bring your kids. We want to see your kids, but just let them know what your expectations are. Even though they are kids, we still have to be respectful in a church service because there are other people in there worshiping as well. All right, so if you feel like you may be uncomfortable with your children in the service, we do have a family room, which is in the middle school room upstairs. It's set up with tables and chairs, and your family could sit at a table, and your kids could spread out on a table if they needed to write and draw and listen. Of course, it won't be a live person up there. It'll be streaming on the TV, but it will be streaming a live service that's going on in the worship center. So if you'd rather join that group in the middle school room, feel free to do that. But we encourage you to try to join us in the worship center if you can. And as you can see behind me, the seats will be set up a little differently. We'll have seats of 2 and seats of 3, seat groups of 4. So if you have a family of 4, y'all can sit together. If your family is larger than 4, our people that are helping in the worship center can move some chairs over to make the section of 4 a little bigger for your family. I want you to also click on the link that's in this post that will go to a letter that I've written to the families at our church to give you some tips and some things for your kids to expect when they return to church. It's about 10, 15 things that are going to be required of everybody coming in the church and are going to be different than what they are used to. So if you could let your children know and talk to them about that and what's going to be different and what things they can expect when they return to the church. So feel free to click on that link and you'll get the letter. And you can, if you haven't gotten it already, it was in last Saturday's email as well. So we look forward to seeing you on June 7th. And feel free to come and join us and sit in the worship service. And we look forward to seeing your children's happy faces again. So see you on Sunday.